Days Gone reviews are out. The game comes out on the April 26th, tomorrow, but we can talk a little bit about some of the reviews and some of the weather systems, as well as a DLC that's also planned for June. So a lot of cool stuff going on. So let's just jump into it. So Days Gone coming out tomorrow. We get to see a couple of reviews on Metacritic. It's averaging around a 72 score, so pretty decent through 81 critics. So we'll just go over some. Let's start with a below average one and then an above average. So IGN did a little bit of a review for this game, as always, and they had a couple different things. Lucy O'Brien did this review, and they point out quite a few different things, some good things, some bad things. But basically, one of the top points are the bike. So riding around feels great. It looks like they like the nitro and some jumping over different points, so that game mechanics seem pretty good. And then they also found the story to be a little bit not quite enticing enough. So the story is where it kind of fell through for them, as well as a couple other reviews. They mentioned the story being some of the weaker points, whereas gameplay seemed like a little bit more of the stronger and fun aspects of the game, engaging and everything. So if you like zombie style games and Days Gone, then this could be good for gameplay, but story might be a little bit of a downfall depending on which reviewer you check out. But basically, some of the melee seemed really good, so combat for melee, but the story was again kind of hit or miss. Some of the dialogue through bugs actually was one of the things that got cut out for them, so maybe they got confused from that. They actually mentioned in this article, so pretty interesting. Couple patches you might want to wait for to see if some things could get fixed. Some of the FPS was also some issues for a lot of reviewers. It would dip down a little bit into the 20s, into the 30s, and it would notice maybe some stuttering and such. So that could be an issue. But the melee and the riding and the combat and everything seemed pretty engaging for all of them. But here is some other little interesting stuff. So a little bit of the repetition stuff played into the story potentially. So when you weren't going through some of the main story, you would be doing a little bit of repetitive missions, like going through camps and stuff, and having to do some not quite super fetch quests, but stuff like that. So freakers, you're infected humanoids, and other things I believe can be infected as well and be like monster bears and everything. So that gets pretty intense for Days Gone. So what is the score IGN gave? Here's a little verdict if you want to check out that, but there's a little scorecard, a 6.5. So IGN is a little bit below the average from Metacritic and all the other reviewers. So fun in small bursts, but Days Gone repetition, a bland world, and meandering story make for an unremarkable ride. Except they like the writing in this exact review, so also kind of funny. And then a little bit above average review from Game Informer. They had some good things to say, as well as a couple bad things as well, obviously, but it looks like my little marks are off. So basically, they also mentioned some of the story misses, as well as like some of the game mechanics and everything going on here. Some of the story straddles the line between two extremes, leaving me wanting more from both the story and open world. So they also mentioned the open world was a little bit lifeless as well, potentially not quite engaging enough. So interesting that well, that seems to coming from a lot of reviewers, so pretty interesting. So what else did they mention? One of the particular things about the story slash open world side mission kind of stuff that they didn't seem to like too much was one of them was searching for a guy's MP3 player. So that might not be the most enticing thing if you're in a zombie open world style game, a freaker open world style game, and you're looking for an MP3 player for someone when you might want to be getting back to the main story. So the main story was more enticing, so I mean that's pretty good. And this is Game Informer with a 7.75 score. Again, graphics issues, some sound, puts in a good performance as Deacon at St. John, Sam Witwer. So pretty good there. Replayability moderately high, so you get some good gameplay. Entertainment, surviving the zombie throngs can be thrilling. So a lot of the other things, there's quite a bit of hordes of zombies. You'll be facing them when going through the open world. So that's something everyone also seemed to enjoy as a positive side. So pretty average reviews from everybody, 72 out of 81. critics. So definitely a little bit more positive reviews. So definitely want to check it out if you're a PS4 fan and a Days Gone zombie style killing fan as well. So there's that. And then something else we can mention about Days Gone is the weather system. It's got quite a big views for Life28SK posted this, and this looks like it's just a continuous 6-minute shot, and it starts off as a cold day, a nice green forest, and it slowly turns. You can kind of fast forward a little bit because we're not going to sit here for 6 minutes, but you'll see some snow build up on some of the plants and on starting to frost up the road a little bit, and maybe a little bit on the trees in the background. And we'll fast forward a little bit more. It's looking a little bit more snowy, a little bit more snowy, and then we can just keep fast forwarding. Road's pretty icy right there. You probably want to not be riding on that too much. And about 2.5 minutes later, it's pretty much covered in snow. You'll see some footprints in a minute, and quite a bit of snow all in one scene. So the weather system, the real time weather system seems pretty good for a PlayStation game. That's pretty cool. I haven't really experienced this, so you might be just playing the game and never really even notice this because it's too good. Pretty cool there. So, and then one other cool thing we have for this is Days Gone DLC content coming in June. So maybe it only got a score of 72 because there might have been some missing content. Not quite missing, but more content coming, so it could get better. So a couple of the contents things that are going to be added in June are a survival difficulty. So they mentioned the game has a easy, normal, and hard, but then there will be also a survival difficulty mode that tests players by daring them to beat the story with increased difficulty. So no fast travel, survival vision, and immersive HUD. So it removes maps and indicators from gameplay. So it makes it quite a bit harder, obviously, if you're into playing survival games and exploring. And easy mode, it won't quite be there if you try this mode. So another thing coming in June is some challenges, weekly challenges for a bike, horde, and combat challenge. So they don't give too many details on this, but it looks like you can do some pretty things. It might be tied in with some of the survival difficulty things that could be interesting to take on a bunch of horde modes, horde style stuff in a survival difficulty, or it could just be all its own unique challenges. But that could be pretty interesting if people want to get some extra rewards. It looks like they mentioned bike skins to show off in photo mode, and new trophies and some other things potentially as well. So cool Days Gone, pretty a little bit averagey reviews, some cool weather systems, as well as DLC content coming. So quite a bit of cool things going on. Pretty good PlayStation 4 game if you want some extra stuff going on as well. So next up in gaming updates, we get and the last bit of news is the Battle Royale Fortnite gets a Endgame mode. So spoiler for the movie, they all die. I'm just kidding, that's not true. Endgame, well, they did in the other one, but that's beside the point. Well, most of them, half of them did. That's again beside the point. We get to see Endgame, a limited time mode. So you usually get about like a week or so to play with this different limited time modes. But this gets pretty interesting because Thanos is returning. There was previously a Thanos mode where everyone would fight Thanos and Thanos would try to slay everyone, and he has superpowers basically because he's Thanos. But now, as other players, this will be a 2-team mode. So the hero team will actually find these mythic Avengers items. So you'll get a Thor hammer, a shield, there's a bow. What else was there? Or something else I'm forgetting about. Iron Man gloves, yeah, so you can fly around too. So that gets pretty intense. So here's the mode details in a nutshell. Basically, Endgame features a team of heroes fighting to stop Thanos and his Chitauri from claiming all 6 Infinity Stones. So again, 2 teams, the evil team looking for all 6 Infinity Stones, and once they get all Infinity Stones, the hero team will stop respawning, whereas both teams get to respawn. I believe the hero team have to slay enough of the Chitauri, and enough, once you kill Thanos, he actually respawns as one of the other Chitauri randomly, and I believe you have to kill enough of them to win on the hero side, whereas obviously the evil side, Thanos side, needs to gather all the stones to stop the hero team from respawning and then finish off the hero team. So that gets pretty intense. There's a bunch of different little aspects to it. Each stone makes Thanos even stronger, so that's pretty crazy. The Chitauri have different abilities. They have a laser rifle, an anti-structure grenade attack, a jetpack that lets them briefly leap high into the air, and everyone has higher health points. And here's the 6 different powers. Health can be doubled, shields, jump height, power, and AoE style stuff. So a lot of crazy stuff here. Acidic Blitz has a little bit of a video showing off a lot of the gameplay. You can actually collect more than one Mythic Avenger item, so you can have the bow, gloves, and shield, as well as weapons and stuff. You can do some building, so you can try to, I believe he protects some of the stones and stuff to stop the dirty Chitauri from collecting them. So it gets pretty hectic if you're into some Battle Royale special modes. So pretty cool there. And I think they slay Thanos once or twice, and in the end they may or may not win. You'll have to check out Acidic Blitz video to find out if he wins or not. So some grappling going on. So pretty cool Avengers style mode and Battle Royale update, as well as some Days Gone stuff going on. We've got Lulu saying some nitro, so apparently you like some Days Gone bike riding and some nitroing around, which is pretty good in zombie style games, nitro. And Snow doesn't do that in only 6 minutes. Well, it actually did in the first 2 minutes, but it's a video game, so you'll have to give them a bit of a break. And with that, we will have another episode tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific with some more tech and game news. With that, I guess we can sign out. Pew, 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 pew.